Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you prompts 29, 28, and 30. 28, 29, and 30 from the Burgent Coopson Gel Printing Challenge on Instagram with Jelly Arts. These are the last three prompts for the month of September 2019, where it was gel printing every day. I have lots of videos from this challenge as well as the challenge last year and all kinds of other gel printing videos on my channel. There's over 50, probably close to 60 now, gel printing challenges, not just challenges, but all kinds of gel printing. So if you're interested in learning about gel printing, just check out my playlist right here in the iCard and you can watch all kinds of videos on gel printing. So for day 28, the prompt was Vaseline Resist. This is something I have not done in a long time, and I've never done it on in conjunction. It's not really on, it's in conjunction with a gel plate. Vaseline is a petroleum product that's greasy and oily, and it kind of creeps me out a little bit. So I don't use it often, but it does make a great resist medium. It resists paint very well. So the first thing that I'm doing here is making some weird colorful backgrounds to try this technique with. And then I'm using some Stencil Girl stencils and some Vaseline, which is what is in that little container there, and my finger. And I'm smearing the Vaseline over the openings in the stencil with my finger. I don't want to get a whole lot on there. In the past, when I've done this technique with just paint and paper, I've used a palette knife to spread it on. It just gets way too much. It's better if you do it with your finger and smear it in there and then take a dry paper towel and just kind of buff it. So there's just a very light coating of the Vaseline on there. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to put some acrylic paint. I'm just using a solid color for the tops on another plate and print over the top of the Vaseline and then set that piece aside to dry. But the bonus thing that you're going to get is a second ghost print with the reverse image. So that light blue one that you saw you can see where the resist is on there that has not attached itself to the plate when I printed. So you get the reverse image of it. And the other piece, the one with the Vaseline on it, I set aside to dry. You don't want to heat dry it. You just want to let the acrylic paint dry on top of it. And then we'll be wiping it off at the end to see what we get. So here's another one. You can also use stamps, texture plates, any other type of texture, your homemade texture, and you just need to get some Vaseline on it, and then you can print it, press it onto your paper like you would with a stamp or something. What I used was textured wallpaper, and I just used a second gel plate to put some Vaseline on my brayer. An easy way to spread it out is to use your plate as an ink pad in air quotes there, and then just press it onto the paper background, and you can get a Vaseline resist that way too, as you can see. Here's another one with a stencil. This stencil has a lot more opening, wide open spaces. What I enjoyed the most was using the Vaseline resist with detailed stencils because it really worked well with the detailed stencils. But it also works with these open stencils, and I ended up getting a couple different ghost prints off this one because there was still stuff left on the plate. And so I picked it up with a lighter color and ended up getting 3 prints with that stencil and that Vaseline run. So this is really fun, and actually the gel plate makes it easier. In the past, I've used a brush to apply the acrylic paint over the top of the Vaseline after I've gotten it on there, and that was messier. And I also used a palette knife to put the Vaseline through a stencil, which was messier. So this is a lot cleaner using the plate to apply the acrylic paint over the top and using my finger to apply the Vaseline to the background. So I have a couple smaller ones here. I'm using one of the ATC stencils to do these from Stencil Girl. All these stencils are from Stencil Girl. I'm on their design team, and so I have a lot of Stencil Girl stencils now, and they are really great. So I'm using that ATC stencil that has 9 patterns, and these ones were all seascapes. So I got some really cool nautilus shells and things like that. And then this is another club stencil from back in the day. I think it's from 2016 or something, but it has a fun open pattern and it's very busy. But you can see at the end when I wipe that off that detailed stencils work great with this technique. So I suggest you try it out. And using the gel plate gives you a real smooth, um, you know, paint over the top. So there we have those. And I got a couple different prints off of that one too. So now I'm just wiping off the Vaseline and any excess paint using a dry paper towel. I think I would have liked to have used a baby wipe, but I'm out of them. And I think that might have been, I don't know. I'm not sure if buffing with the dry or using a baby wipe is better because I didn't have any baby wipes, but I still felt that I got kind of a sheen over the paint. It's kind of shiny because of pushing the Vaseline into the paper, which I have a feeling it might be kind of tricky to use these for collage. And I can't, I'm just saying that. I can't prove it because I haven't tried. But, you know, if that Vaseline is all over the paper and I didn't wash it off, it seems like it would resist the mediums for collage. So I'm not sure. But we'll find out probably sometime soon. So the next one was using embossing folders to make texture on your plate. You probably have some of these. These were so popular when they first came out. You got these folders and then you put your cardstock in between and run it through your die cutting machine, and it made a bumpy texture onto your cardstock. And it was the coolest thing if you were a card maker back in the day. And I don't see it much that anymore. I'm not sure people are using them anymore, but um, they're super cool. I guess maybe it's just kind of a little bit of a pain to get it out and run it through your machine and all that. I don't know, but anyway, they make great texture on your gel plate. So I'm putting some color down and then taking the folder and pressing it onto the plate to remove some of the paint, the acrylic paint. And what's left is an interesting pattern. Then I can just pick that up with another layer of paint and coordinating color. And um, this was fun. This made interesting texture, very predictable and repeatable texture because the plate just doesn't change. The folder doesn't change. I mean, also, I got out another plate because I had excess left on the folder, and so I was using it to apply a third design onto my bigger plate there that you can only kind of see in the shot. That time I used a metallic paint to pick it up, and that was pretty cool. I thought that they turned out nice. So I decided to try it with a different one. This one is a embossing folder that has clocks on it. It's Tim Holtz, I think, and it's more kind of steampunky or masculine looking. And so I decided to use a brown, my least favorite color in the universe, to do it. The only thing that I noticed after I did it, and this is obvious, all the numbers were backwards because if you put any type of like if you use letters or something like that that are a stamp or a plate and you put them, you flip them over, put them down on the gel plate, and then you lift the print, it reverses any words or letters or numbers. So all my clocks have backwards numbers on them, but it's, you know, it's just going to be a background anyway, so probably nobody will notice. It's not that big of a deal. I got out another one that has fall leaves on it, and I'm starting to do my next collection of prints with that one, and I don't have to worry about it getting reversed. So that time I actually took my brayer and a little bit of the titanium white, and I went over the side of the folder that is the outie side. That's the other thing I didn't mention. If you look at your embossing folders, there's an innie on one side and an outie on the other, because it has to come together like a clamshell and fit together and force your paper in between those two innies and outies to make the emboss. So you can use either side with different effects. Sometimes they come out kind of looking the same, but sometimes they're very different. So on the outie side, the side where the uh, the design is up, I can roll my brayer over that really easily and make it into kind of a stamp to stamp down different colors. And this one I use multiple colors doing that technique. And then I picked it up with some metallic paint from PBO. And so you get a different look. This one is snowflakes, and I decided to try a white background and a dark background. And then I'm just using the excess paint on my other larger plate to see the difference. And I also flipped and used the innie side and the outie side both to see, just to see what I would get. The lighter one, you can't see a lot on the video, but there is a lot of white snowflakes on it. You can't see it in the video very well. So then I picked up this one with the dark. Sorry about the yawning, everyone. It's an involuntary thing. I can't help it. And when I picked it up with the dark, you could see the lighter snowflakes better on it. So that is embossing folders to make texture on your plate. So if you have some of those unused folders, get them out and play with your gel plate. So the last one for this video and for the month is type or text. I have these stamps, and the reason that I bought them, and I can't remember even who told me about it. I think it might have been I want to say it might have been Patty Tolley Parrish maybe, talked about them, and I thought, oh, that's such a good idea. These stamps are backwards. So they're great for the plate because, like I said earlier, if you put something on there, if you put a stamp on there that's going the right direction, it comes out reversed, like what happened to my clocks. And so these stamps are intentionally reversed so that you can use them on the plate. I will try to find a link to them and put it below the video. I don't remember very much about them or where I got them. I remember it was a website. I remember that I was watching someone's video and they said, oh, here's these reversed stamps that you can use on your gel plate. And I thought, I want that. So I decided to get these out. There's a ton of interpretations for this prompt text or type. Printing on text paper is the most obvious one. And I have been using some dictionary paper in this video to do my small plate. And so these stamps, the other thing about them is that they will lock together. So if you wanted to make a word and print it over and over and over, you can do that because the little pegs lock together, which is kind of a cool feature as well. But the main thing is that they're reversed so that when you print with them, the words come out, or the letters come out in the right direction. I didn't make any words. I was just wanting to use, make it random and use a random background type of an idea without words. But you could make a word and then repeat it over and over and over. Like say you were making Valentine cards or something, and you wanted to use, love or Valentine or whatever, and you could print it over and over, and that would be really cool. So there we have text using the reversed stamps that I have. Then another thing you can do the same type of a thing by using foam stickers, and you can find them in text. The most inexpensive place to get them is the dollar store. You can get a whole like little in the kids crafts section, they have some letters that are made out of foam. So the only thing you need to remember is to put them backwards. And if you guys are watching here, you will see that I messed that up a little bit. But I'm trying to glue them on my tag board backwards. So I'm putting the glue on the top and then flipping them over, which then I have a sticky side that's sticking to my fingers. It's not as easy as you would think. Hot glue probably would have been better. The only thing I did was I did not reverse the word go. But since I'm making random backgrounds, I guess it doesn't really matter. You can't really see the words anyway. But these stickers are from, I got them from Tuesday Morning, and they're made out of foam, and they're just words in kind of a cursive type of a thing. I also have just the letter ones, and I was going to use those, but I couldn't find them. I know I used them the other day for something. I think when I was making a journal, I used them on the front cover, and I don't know where I put them. But anyway, then you just, of course, put some paint on your plate, put that on there, and pick it up, and you end up with interesting text looking thing, and doesn't even have to say anything. But yeah, the go is reversed because I didn't put it on upside down. I need to go and pull it off and do it the right way so that if I ever use this again as a texture plate, it will be correct. I think those stickers were for scrapbooking, so they have some kind of just weird, random words, and I don't really think I would ever use them for anything else. I don't know, maybe art journaling, maybe as a title, but they work great for making a texture plate to print with. So I got some interesting prints with just, writing in the middle. Another thing that I could have done that I didn't do, and I thought about doing and then didn't do it because I ran out of time, was to just write on the plate. But you would want to do scribble writing, uh, not actual words, because if you write actual words on the plate, they're going to be reversed. So you need to write backwards, which some people can do. I'm not sure I can. Um, maybe I can. Also, I have another video um, earlier in the series where I made a styrofoam printing plate, and you could write the correct direction on the styrofoam with a hot tool or a ball stylus, and then when you print it onto the plate to make the texture, it's backwards. So then when you pull it, it's the right way again. So just some ideas. There's like I said, 1,000 interpretations of this particular prompt of getting type or text on some type of print. I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below, subscribe if you haven't already, and please turn on your notification bell. That helps me. That's the new parameter now for YouTube. And you can share this on Pinterest to help other people find my gel printing videos who might be interested in learning about gel printing. And of course, you can share it on Facebook and all those things. So the easiest way I think to get text onto a print is to use a stencil. And this one is a stencil from Stencil Girl. And I put it on there backwards so that the letters will be in the correct direction. But with the stencil, you can put it either direction, right? You can put it upside down and right side up. It doesn't matter. So that's how come it becomes so easy to do. I didn't want any of the words to show. This is actually a great stencil with a lot of great words, but I just wanted it to be a scribbly background. So I just kind of put it on there in an area that you wouldn't see the whole word or all the letters. And of course, I'm using my 6x6 and my 4x5, 3x5 plates. So I wouldn't have been able to get the whole stencil on there anyway. If I used my big one, I would be able to. So I put the paint down, put the stencil over it, picked up the excess paint, and then pulled off the stencil and picked up the layers of paint using a top pull layer of thin paint to pick it up. So that's how I did it. there's probably other ways of doing it as well. I know there are. This is just my preference of how I print. So I just kind of get a scribble word background doing it that way. You can't really read it, but you know it's letters. So that is it for me for gel printing in September. Bye-bye.